Today on CTV, we're talking cell phones and teachers, looking ahead to the annual One Acts, and getting an explanation for why our Scholar Bowl team isn't going to nationals after all. Hello Bears, I'm Darius Stone. First, we want to update you with what we know about the condition of Crispin student Shelly Cunningham. It's been almost 2 weeks since a man in a stolen car crashed into her on 24 Highway, right out in front of Crispin. Earlier this week, doctors took her off her ventilator, which means she's breathing on her own. She's responding to commands and other stimulus. And she's doing well enough that doctors could resume surgeries to repair her many injuries. This positive news comes in the wake of students and parents gathering Saturday night in the parking lot. They held a vigil to raise money for Shelly's family. It seems more teachers are cracking down on cell phones this semester. CTV's Kaylee Heisel gives us a sampling of teachers' policies and the students' reactions.
The ISD cell phone policy only allows for actual use of cell phones outside of class time, but each teacher has his or her own policy within their classrooms. Mr. Smithson is one of the most tolerant teachers on the phone policy and what he expects from most students.
In my room, there's a place on the desk that they can put their phone, and as long as I'm not talking, they can look at it and do whatever they need with it. As long as it stays out of their fingers and stays where they can see it on the desk, I'm fine with it. If they're using it on something that we're doing, if they're looking something up, I'm okay with that too. But if I'm trying to talk to the class and whatever's going on Snapchat is more important than what I'm saying, I'm not a big fan.
Mr. Roush is strict in his own ways about taking away phones, but when work is done, he allows phone privileges.
I allow the kids, as long as they make adequate progress, to use their phones for music. Any social media, I'm totally against. And I do take their phones and I babysit them for the end of the hour, and then they get them back at the end of the hour. To me, it takes away all of their individuality. And what I mean by that is, it seems like they are always out there and they always want to be validated. Like, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And it's like, really, I want you to think for yourself. If you think something's okay, you don't need to see how many likes you have or how many of these things that you have to be validated.
Ms. Nelson doesn't play when it comes to using your phone in her classroom.
My cell phone policy is when you come in, it either needs to be put completely away, on silent, completely away, or I have a phone caddy where you can keep it and charge it for the day as long as it's not a distraction. If you have your phone out, I usually come by and I give you a nonverbal gesture to put it away. The next time it's still out, I'll come by and I'll verbally say, hey, put your phone away. Third time around, I just take it, can get it after class. If it continues to be an issue, then I take it to the office or whatnot.
Many students don't feel their cell phone usage is affecting their grades, so they don't agree with the teachers cracking down on phone usage.
I mainly use my phone to listen to music, but anything else, I really don't.
I feel the cell phone policy is somewhat tolerable, but it's not too extreme, but it teaches us kind of a lesson on how to use our cell phones during the school day.
Honestly, the cell phone policy, it could be held back a little bit because some kids need to reach out to their parents if there's something really important they need, and some teachers will take their phone away no matter what, and they won't give them a chance to explain what they were doing.
District allows teachers to take phones away whether we like it or not. For Alexis Elliott, I'm Kaylee Heisel reporting for CTV. And I take this call.
It was a tough ending to a very good season for our girls basketball team. They lost a belt Wednesday night at the state sectionals. They finished the season 21-7, but claimed Crispin's 5th district title in the process. Student athletes, if you think you might want to play sports in college, mark your calendars. Next Saturday, March 19th, the school will be holding a recruiting seminar. You will learn a lot about the college recruiting process, including how to catch the eye of a school, as well as the rules and restrictions you need to be aware of. The seminar will start at 1 p.m. here at Crispin. Speaking of college sports, the NAIA needs volunteers to work the Women's Basketball Championship next week. The 32-team tournament starts Wednesday and runs through the following Tuesday at Silverstein Eye Center Arena. You must be 16 years or older to volunteer. We tweeted out the link from William Crispin Broadcast if you would want to register. My fellow seniors, we're approximately 10 weeks away from graduation. And over the last few weeks, we've received another sign of how close we are to graduating.
BB Huckabee.
Seniors reach another milestone in the final year of their high school careers. Last week, Jocelyn came and handed out graduation announcements. We talked to a few seniors about how they feel about the new designs of the announcements.
I personally like the new design.
Yes, I do like the design.
Yeah, I like the new design of the announcements. It's pretty cool.
Even though seniors only receive graduation announcements, it still brings the reality of graduation ever closer.
Yeah, I feel a lot closer now and can't wait to graduate.
Yes, I do feel close to graduation.
Yeah, personally, since I've seen the new announcements, I'm like, oh dang, graduation is here. What I'm gonna do?
For Darius Stone, I'm Joe Guthrie, reporting for CTV.
Summer school sign-ups are rapidly approaching. Enrollment opens on Monday. Sign up as soon as possible so you can earn those credits. We now know the new person who will lead our student council next year. Allie Vaughn won last week's election. As Joe Guthrie tells us, her victory came after a couple interesting weeks of campaigning.
The Stuco election is over, but we like to remind you what each candidate brought for Christmas.
One of my wishes is to make the student body stronger as a whole.
I feel I'm a strong, vibrant leader, and I feel I can make next year great yet fun.
My goal for next year is to unify our school more and make it so that we are a Bear family and everyone's involved and we're all going to student sections and being a part of the games and everything like that.
But in the end of the election, Allie Vaughn came out on top.
I was really surprised that I won. I didn't expect to win. Like once we started the campaigning and stuff like that, I didn't put up a lot of posters and it was just more like a word of mouth kind of thing for my campaign. So when they told me that I did win, I was really surprised because I expected either Sadie or Marissa to beat me. And I'm really excited for all of our pep assemblies. Like it's going to be so much fun to be able to be down in the middle of the gym and with being like getting everybody involved and stuff like that. Next year is going to be so much fun. I can't wait to see all of the great things that we do. And I know because this year was really great, and I believe that next year is going to be so much better.
For Skylar McCarty, I'm Joe Guthrie, reporting for CTV.
Congratulations to the choir students advancing to state and the students in band and orchestra.
I choose not to smoke because not only is it a good decision for my health, but it affects everyone around me. I have nieces and nephews and a little brother, and I want to be that good role model that I never had access to.
Smoking is really, really bad for cystic fibrosis patients. I actually have a problem where when I'm exposed to cigarette smoke, even if it's just a single cigarette, my lungs will actually start bleeding. The blood vessels inside the lungs burst, and it just fills my lungs with blood and can become fatal very fast.
They might not think it affects other people, but the secondhand smoke can definitely affect everybody around them.
When you choose to smoke, it's not just because it's your right to smoke, you're also taking away other people's right to clean air.
In media, it used to be portrayed as something cool that everyone did, and now it needs to be portrayed as what it truly is, which is a danger to our health and everyone around us. It's not something that should be encouraged, it's something that we need to see the truth behind.
The third and final act of the year for the theater department is the one acts. CTV's Tariq Lindsay tells us more about how these differ from the other two productions.
This is the 26th year for One Acts. 6 small individual plays combined to make one big show. They're different from other shows put on by the theater department.
Instead of just one show to prepare for and get the set and all the costumes, we have 6 different shows. And even though they're smaller, it's a lot more work. And we're also performing in the little theater this time instead of the auditorium.
It is different than the other 2 shows because it's a large cast, and each person doesn't have to be there all the time because it's 6 different mini shows, so they can only have to commit to the time for one mini show.
Students participate for different reasons.
I wanted to be in it because I like acting, and I've been doing theater for 4 years here, and being around these people is really nice. They're my family.
I wanted to direct because it's what I want to do professionally, and I've done it in the past.
Mrs. Hayes and the directors chose actors a couple weeks ago.
The process for choosing who's going to do what is very difficult. There's a lot of people who audition, several people who try out to be a director. Usually for a student director, we select people who have at least been in the shows at least once, and they have the experience of knowing how to do movement on stage. So we select those, and then they help us pick kind of who's in the shows.
Rehearsals are well underway and all involved are excited.
I'm looking forward to the chance to get really close with a smaller group of people.
I'm most looking forward to seeing the show come together and finally be put together completely, to be put on stage and see the emotions of the audience as they go through the same things that the characters are on stage.
I always look forward to the one acts because they're really fun. There's a variety of entertainment, and with the winter play and the musical, it's like you either like the script or you don't like the script. With the one acts, you can come in and you can see one and you can love it, and the next one it's like, okay, that was pretty good, and the next one, oh my goodness, that's great too. So it's different each time. It's an evening of variety entertainment.
Performances will take place April 4th through 16th. For Barry Baker, I'm Tyreek Lindsay reporting for CTV.
A tough break for the Scholar Bowl team. They will not get to compete in the Nationals after all. CTV's Asia Worth tells us why.
William Christmas Scholar Bowl team placed 5th in a recent tournament after they thought they qualified for Nationals.
I meant it. I stood up in the middle of my living room and just kind of did a party dance because we had been working so hard. That was one of our goals that we set a couple years ago, was we wanted to earn a national bid.
But just found out this week that has not been the case.
Because 3 schools dropped out, we had an even number, 16 teams, which means the top 25% is actually in the top 4 schools. And because of that technicality that those 3 schools did not complete a full 9 rounds, we lost our bid status.
The news is difficult to take.
I had to take a moment and take a breath because it's like, oh no, I got to tell them. It wasn't so much that, it really wasn't for me. It was more the students. I was realizing at that moment that I wasn't going to get to take them to nationals, which is something I was looking forward to seeing them participate in.
I was pretty excited because we haven't ever gotten this far before in my 2 years of being on the team.
Despite the disappointment, Ms. Stafford says the team is well positioned to do well for the rest of the season.
We were very proud of our 5th place finish. As much as we would have liked to be in the top 3 and bring home a trophy, we did have a member go on the all-tournament team, and we held our own against 2 teams that are actually teams we're going to have to face both in conference and districts, which means we have a very good shot at winning conference and districts if we go in with our A game.
And there's always next year.
Many of our members are returning next year, so if anything, knowing them, it will just encourage them to work harder to get to that goal.
For John Mars and Mallory Thompson, I'm Asia Worth reporting for CTV.